Carver, Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio from Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. It is a Tuesday, last show of 2025.
Don't say it. Say
it
it ain't
is.
so,
It
Mike.
is because, of course, Monday, Tuesday this week, next week back to normal. Wednesdays and Thursdays, 2026 will be here. It is New Year's Eve. Like last week, we were at Christmas Eve. New Year's Eve as we get ready. A lot to do today. Plenty of football to talk about. Get ready for the last regular season week in the NFL, week number 18. College football playoff games on Wednesday night and Thursday. Other bowl games. We got pucks. Got hoops. Very, very busy as we get ourselves ready here for the final show for us for 2025. Mike Carver, along with Paul Cuthbert. Hi, Paul. How you doing?
Good afternoon, Michael. Restful, cool day here.
It is
down Long
again.
Beach.
It's back to the really, really cold February type cold here in Long Beach on the island.
Supposed to go into the city tonight to see the big tree. Before they take
Is
it
that
down.
right?
Yeah. Might have to put some extra
Better bundle up.
bundle up there.
To bundle up a little bit. I think I'm actually supposed to go to the Bronx Zoo Light Show.
Oh, when is that run until?
That's, I think, runs till this weekend too. It's the whole month of December.
Might be going to the Bronx Zoo on Friday too.
Okay, so
Crazy.
that's
Or the aquarium.
you're kind of flipping the coin on
those
that
who are in charge.
We go every year. It's pretty good.
All right, man.
So it's a pretty good scene. So we might have that. Of course, we picked the cold night, the really cold night to go. But I guess it's better than it raining on you. I guess we don't have that. So you got to take what you can get here. A lot to do, as I mentioned, here on a Tuesday at Borrelli's. Once again, Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach. And later on, we'll tell you about everything that's going on here, especially over the next couple nights with New Year's Eve, big party, New Year's Day, etc. So we have all that. But let's start today, Paul. I just going through a couple things from last night that we, of course, talked about yesterday. We watched and whatnot, including the Rams going into Atlanta
They suck.
on Monday Night Football and just laying an egg. And you know what it says to me, and what I really thought about as I was watching that game last night is, as much as guys like us and other people out there like to sit around and talk about the NFL and think that they know everything, but like
We know
there's
everything.
a lot of things that we like to talk about as talking points that I'm not so sure at the end of the day, like those guys that are on the field, like we sit around and talk about things like, well, if they win their last two games, they're going to be this seed. And if they do this, they're going to do that. And this team's already got a losing record and they're out, so they're not going to care. And I think that sometimes that stuff gets way too blown out of proportion. And I think last night's game is a prime example of something like that, because we had, it all lined up right. Like it all seemed so perfect. The Rams are much better. The Rams have extra rest. The Rams are playing for more, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, everyone gets paid out there. And even from the smallest level, like when you used to play whatever it was, roller hockey, anything, like even if your team sucked, like didn't you want to win? Like it sucks losing. Like you never want to lose. Yeah. Now, are there teams in these sports that sometimes, like you watch the Jets the last couple of weeks, like you could tell, like it's Cancun time. Like they really don't have much effort. But every single team that's eliminated and has no shot, I don't think you could just assume that because they're 6-9 or that it's just over. Like they have really talented players. And you watch a guy like Bijan Robinson last night, who was ridiculous. And you watch guys on their defense making big plays. And it's like, okay, yeah, the Rams are better. But you know what? The Falcons came to play last night. That's what it comes down to.
They're like giving the ball back to the other teams lately.
Yeah, that's another thing. And that gets into another story, which
here, take the ball back.
And this is probably more like what I'm going to mention about Stafford and the MVP and those things. This is more like a gambling type of bigger picture for that sort of thing, because there was a thing on social media last night where everyone was kind of tracking the live odds for who was going to win the MVP as the game is going on.
Okay.
Now, Matthew Stafford and Drake May of the Patriots, it's kind of come down to them. One of them is going to win the MVP. And it was funny, like Stafford didn't have a good night, obviously.
Nope.
Threw the ball the other team a bunch of times, and it didn't go well for him. But it's amazing to me how an award that's supposed to be a season-long award that encompasses your entire 17 games, that so much swing was happening in the odds off of what was happening in one game. And it really,
What
I
have
don't
you done
know.
for me lately?
I guess, and that's today's world,
Yep.
I suppose, and that's what it's become. But I don't know. Like, I still think that if you asked me today, like, to just look at the entire body of work, I still think that Stafford's had a better year than Drake May. That's just me. I just feel like, he's thrown like 40-something touchdowns. He's had the same amount of interceptions. He's thrown for more yards. He's gotten bigger wins. I mean, the Patriots really, give them credit. They've won 12, 13 games, but they've played the worst schedule in the NFL this year. Like, I think there's a lot of things that should factor in to it, but it was like just weird watching the numbers just move. Like, oh, May's a huge favorite now, because Stafford threw a couple picks last night. What about the other 16 games that he played this year? Like, it's funny to me how it moves so quickly off of just one situation. That's what it comes.
It's the way it is today, buddy.
It is kind of the way that
it
it goes. Steve says last night proved that Cousins should be starting over Penix, and the Falcons wasted 2 years of Bijan's career with that quarterback blunder. Steve, you're not completely wrong there. I thought I never understood being so enamored with Penix. And look, Cousins is what he is. Maybe they pulled the plug a little too quick. They screwed that whole thing up from the start. They gave Cousins a bunch of money and then drafted Penix 6 weeks later, and you knew you were in for a problem when you did that, because whenever you have the aging the veteran, and the brand new first-round pick quarterback, as soon as one or two things go wrong, everyone is going to want to see the first-round pick quarterback, and that's just, they screwed themselves up. This is why they're a poorly run organization. They just are. They've been running things poorly for a long time, and that was another mistake they made, and I think they did waste a couple of years. I think you're right. They wasted a couple of years of Bijan Robinson's career. He's ridiculous, Paulie, Bijan Robinson.
They look good last
ridiculous.
night. They were fun.
And despite the Rams did come back and had a chance, obviously had a chance to win that game.
I mean, last week and this week, they suck.
And I love everybody cries and belly aches now after the fact of how that non-penalty call on the second to last play of the game, which by the way, here's a couple things for you. Number one, he catches that ball, the game's over. They're never getting down there and spiking the ball. No shot. You think Stafford's running 40 yards down the field and getting down there in 8 or 9 seconds and spiking the football? I don't see it. Number two, that was look, when you get to slow motion, frame by frame, look at a play like that, you can find yes. Was it probably a penalty by the book? Was it a penalty? Yes, it was. But was it so egregious that in real time, fast motion, I could blame the official for not? Like, we've seen some bad ones where guys are, how about the guy? What was the Raven guy? What was the Patriot game? Guy got tackled on the 5-yard line and they didn't throw a flag. This was a little hand fighting. Did he get his arm around his arm? Yes, he did. But in real time, it was very difficult to tell that. And they got jobbed on a call. You know what? How about not get down 21-0?
Exactly.
How about that? How about you try doing that? And the Puka catch was unbelievable, but the ball left his hand for a half a second as he was going out of bounds. It's the way it goes. Shouldn't have been in that spot. You don't get down 21-0 to the Falcons.
Yeah, and back to the Stafford thing too. Playing the Cardinals next week, the guy could throw 5 touchdowns and over 250, 300 yards, and that meter you've been watching might just flip back.
But and again, playing the Cardinals next week, and the Patriots are playing the flipper.
They're playing. I might take the Cardinals next week after Ramsey's last 2 weeks.
But it's it does go back to what I was just saying, and you're right. And I think when we start talking about these games for this week, and we sometimes, because of me, and I like to put the small gambling aspect of it on these games. You got to be careful this week. This week 18 is the hardest. Week 1 and week 18 are the 2 hardest weeks to bet, because week 1, you're going basically off of everything from last year, and you shouldn't do that. You're basing all your thinking and all your analysis off of last year's teams, and the teams are so different. You shouldn't do it. And week 18 is so difficult because you have
lineups are changing.
You have one pocket of teams that are in the playoffs. Do they care? Are they resting guys? Does it matter? You have another pocket of teams like the Falcons last night who, are playing hard and are going for it and are trying to, operations as usual.
Throw the Browns in.
You have another pocket of teams that, it's Cancun time, and they're just, let's get the hell out of here as fast as we possibly can. It's very difficult to do. And as much as people will say, well, the Rams can still get the 5, I don't know if they care about that. They, in our minds, they should, because it's like, wouldn't you rather go to Carolina or Tampa than go to Philadelphia? Like, that to us is really important stuff, because we're going to watch it and we're going to bet on it and we're going to root for it and we're going to do. But I don't know if in the dark corners of Sean McVay's office, he's like, I'm more concerned that I have Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Jared Verse, and all my guys 100% healthy for wherever I have to go the next week. Sometimes that to them is more important than it is to us.
Yeah.
And that stuff is hard to handicap, because they're never going to tell you the truth. They are never going to tell you what their plans are. As much as they have 3 press conferences a week and these head coaches sit up there. I mean, this Sirianni from the Eagles, he's going to sit. He basically told you yesterday, he laid the breadcrumbs out. Like, I'm playing no one on Sunday. Like, I'm just letting you know. Like, I don't care that we could play this team instead of that team. I want to give my important players and my starters a week off. And he's going to do that against Washington on Sunday. The Chargers aren't going to play Herbert. They don't care if they play New England or Jacksonville or Baltimore/Pittsburgh. It doesn't matter to them, because what's more important is the health of their starting quarterback and being upright and ready to go the following week. The Bills are going to do the same thing with Allen. It just doesn't matter. And who's checked out and who isn't, as you look around at all these things. Super difficult week 18 in the NFL.
Oh, great points. All good stuff. Yep.
There you go. That's my got that off my chest from the Falcon Ram game last night.
It's bang on, man. It is, because you just really don't know. You won't know. And if you are in the betting industry and you are,
it's super hard this week.
If you've accumulated a lot of a big pile here for the last week,
right?
What do?
I think you sit on it till the playoffs. Yeah. I honestly do. But now look. There are a lot of things this week that are also really fun to bet. There every year, and this has become a little trendy now, and everybody does it. But like 3 or 4 years ago, you could find like contract incentives, like who needs 5 catches for an extra $200,000, or who needs 130 yards for another $500,000. Like, there are things that are in these guys. That is what I like going after in week 18, is stuff like that. Who needs 2 touchdowns for a bonus? Who needs this? Like, because you want to know what I know? Like, I don't know if you ever seen the video a few years ago. Gronk did this with Brady on the sideline. It was a week 18 game. The Bucks this was maybe the year they won the Super Bowl, or one of those years they were going to the playoffs, those 2 or 3 years Brady was there. And him and Gronk were on the sideline, and Gronk's like, I just need one more catch. And he had like a $1 million bonus in his contract for 80 catches or 90 catches, whatever it was. And Tom looked at him and was like, you need one more? And they got out, and the next play, Gronk was like, on the side tight end. He took 3 steps to the left. Brady gave him a little pass, and he got his catch. So that's the stuff I think in the last game of the year, especially teams that are out of it. Like, that's the stuff. Guys talk about that because it's putting their money in their pocket.
Now, does somebody release like a spreadsheet on all that stuff?
Well, that's the thing. Guys have started to. This has become such a big thing now that it's almost oversaturated, especially with people betting it and people going after it, because it used to be like a thing where a couple people were into it and you could tail it and you could be like, all right, I'm going to get in on this. Now, like you say, guys put out entire articles and spreadsheets listing every single potential incentive that these teams have. And it is helpful. And I don't think you can play them all, obviously, because everything's not going to hit, but you pick and choose the ones that you feel like you feel the best about. And that's the fun for me in this last game of the season. Like Garrett still needs the 1 sack for the record for Cleveland. Wow. Will Burrow / Browning / Flacco take the fall? Whoever's going to be out there for the Bengals. That's another thing. Like Garrett's going to get, and I'm going to tell you, I think he needs, is it 1 to tie or is he 1 or 2 to break it? I forget where it is right now, but that's something that will be very much a focus on Sunday for the Browns, is getting Garrett those sacks and getting him in there. And
Who the Browns playing?
The Bengals. So they're playing Burrow / whoever's going to be out there, like Steve says. It could be a combination of several guys, depending on what the Bengals want to do. I mean, I certainly want to keep Joe Burrow as upright as you can, considering the trouble that he's had, and you want him going into the offseason healthy and good for next year. But it's a funny week 18. They've even screwed up, and this is an awful job by the NFL. The NFL was so sure that the Rams were going to beat the Falcons that they put that Buck-Panther game Saturday at 4:30. I'm not saying not realizing, because I think they did realize, but they didn't think the Falcons would win,
Mm-hmm.
that there was a stipulation there that if the Falcons won their last 2 games, there would be a 3-way tie for the South. And even though the Falcons wouldn't win it, it would eliminate the Bucks. So now, Paulie, because of how they've scheduled things, and normally they keep these games the last week at the same time because they don't want any of knowing who's in and who's out beforehand. If Tampa beats Carolina on Saturday afternoon, they are not automatically the winners of the South. They now have to sit around their fireplace on Sunday and they have to watch the meaningless Saint Falcon game, because if the Falcons win and all 3 teams are 8-9, Carolina wins the division on the tiebreaker, and the Bucks would be out after beating the Panthers twice. They'd be out. So this is or they got to sit around and root for the Saints. Like, they need the Saints to come through for them in order to win the division. So another weird thing, that a game that on paper looks like it's 2 teams not going to the playoffs suddenly has a lot of meaning to the Bucks. But do the Saints and the Falcons care that it has a lot of meaning to the Bucks? Probably not. It's just it's really.
But who
wild
knows,
stuff.
man? In the locker rooms, like I said, it gives them an opportunity. Hey, look, if we win this, we get a chance to knock somebody out.
Right. Well, and I think that and all 4 of those teams are obviously in the same division, and there's rivalries all through. But I think that Atlanta-Tampa is a little bit stronger of a tie with a rivalry, and Atlanta winning would knock Tampa out if they won the game. And I think that there would be a little something there to kind of stick it to them. But
there were a lot.
Bucks got to actually do something on Saturday that they haven't done much of in the last 2 months, and that's actually win a football game. They haven't been very good.
Rams suck, Bucks suck
at winning these football games over the past couple of weeks, which is just they have been so awful in these spots. And where was I with that? Where was week 16? And the Panthers did beat the Bucks the first time. I know I said they beat them twice. That was wrong by me. Panthers beat them in Carolina 2 weeks ago. And even if the Bucks beat them and they split this week, it would still be on the Falcons on Sunday afternoon. Also last night, before we start getting through all the football for this week, Strangers lose in Carolina.
Yeah.
Played well, blew a third period lead.
I was thinking about this on the way to the show today. I think there's really only 2 teams in New York we should be talking about right now, and that's New York Knicks and the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah. Look, and the Knicks won in New Orleans 130-125 last night. Knicks are an offensive machine. Kolek played well again. They got lots
They're winning.
They win.
Sabres are winning.
9 in a row for the Sabres.
We talk on this show. We talked about it. Everybody's talking about New York, about Jets, the Giants. So the Yankees in there recently. Yeah.
The Knicks are the winner.
Rangers, Islanders back and forth here a little bit. But there's 2 teams that are playing pretty damn well in the state of New York right now. And maybe deserve a little more attention.
Well, the Sabres will never get that attention.
And that's me totally deflecting the New York Rangers conversation.
Well, you just didn't want to bring out that they blew a third period lead and they won.
Yeah, what's the same?
Lost in a shoot. Although, no, they gave up. They scored at the end of overtime, Carolina, right? And they got the win in overtime. So they played hard. I thought you got a good effort out of the Rangers last night. They only got 1 point.
We're getting efforts from a select few on the team.
Okay, well,
but they need Foxy and JT back if anything's going to happen.
Sabres have won 9 in a row.
Look at the Sabres go. Probably saving Lindy Ruff's job here.
Looking for 10 in Dallas tomorrow night.
Woo!
That's a tough spot. Going to Dallas to try to win 10 in a row.
They are having fun, man.
They are. They're
doing
the
other thing I was really paying attention to last night in and around the Rams-Falcons game was the U.S. hockey, the kids, the Canadians and the U.S.
That was a wild game.
Yeah, wild game.
They play Slovakia, right?
2-0 and 3-1.
Slovakia? What'd they play?
Yes, Slovakia.
Okay. See, I got tapped in a little bit last night. I saw it was going on.
And you could get thrown up by the Czech team because they have the same color, same flags, all that stuff. But yeah. And the kid in net, Heel, I think his name is, good net miner. But we're seeing the Canadian U.S. teams lining up for the big clash.
They are.
Finland's looking good too. You can't not pay attention to Finland.
And
a lot of goals.
John here, Let's Go Sabres. And yes, John's a Buffalo native that is watching the show. We love John. And he actually said, I've got tickets to the Patriots wildcard game in Foxborough. As a Bills fan, I'm hoping to see them play in the game. Does that mean I have to root for the Chargers to beat the Broncos? No, actually. You want the Broncos to be the 1 seed, because if you have Patriot wildcard game tickets, you need the Patriots to be the 2 so that they don't have the bye. So you want the Broncos to win and be the 1 seed. The Patriots would then be the 2, and then you would want the Bills to lose to the Jets this week because that would guarantee them the 7. So the only way the Patriots would play the Bills wildcard weekend, obviously, is if the Patriots are the 2 seed and the Bills are the 7 seed. The Bills would have to lose to the Jets, which I'm not sure, even with the backups playing, is going to happen. I'm really not. Because as I mentioned before, when we were just kind of talking about how maybe we over narrate some of this stuff with these teams. If there's a team that I am kind of certain about that has thrown it in, it's the Jets. And I think as bad as they are, they'll lose to Trubisky on Sunday if Trubisky's playing for the Bills and some of the guys that are going to be out there.
You know, some of the fans that go out there to Buffalo and they shovel.
Yeah.
They could put them in a couple uniforms
and beat the Jets.
It's
not impossible. And remember, you've got all the aura and the mystique. The last game at the old Ralph.
Yeah, they're going to want to win that game.
Yeah, I think whoever's out there is going to want to. And I believe that the Jets have punched the clock. They have.
Yeah.
You just look at, and
they're watching the Sabres.
Because you look at their efforts the last couple of weeks, there isn't a lot to hang your hat on, whether it's the Patriot game, the Saint game, the Dolphin game. Like, you look at some of these games and you're like, yeah, I don't think that they're really putting a lot into, as we said yesterday, that is an indication on indictment on Aaron Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
And I've thought about this a lot since we talked about it yesterday. I believe he should be fired as the coach, but I don't think that they're going to. I think they're going to keep him around another year. You want to know why? Because the Jets always jet. And as much as it's the right thing to do to fire the guy after what potentially will be a 3-14 season, they will not do it because they are stupid. That is why. And I'm sorry. It is what it is. They always have to find a way to get in their own way. And they should absolutely go ahead and do that. Lots of comments today in the chat box, which we always love. The Bronx Buckeye, which of course is Eddie from Columbus, checks in. Happy New Year, boys. From my mom, of course. Eddie and his mom were down here a couple weeks ago for one of the shows. So good to see Mama Gina on the check-in. Good job, Eddie in Columbus. He's excited for the Buckeyes and the Canes on New Year's Eve, of course, in that college football playoff game. John, thanks, Carver. I have faith in the Broncos for sure, but definitely not the Jets. Yeah, that's going to be the problem, John. If you're hoping for Bills, Pats, and Foxborough wild card weekend, you would need the Jets to actually want to play, which I'm not sure they're going to be able to do. So that did kind of lead me into where I was going to go next, which is, as we start our look at Week 18, we usually do the locals first, and there isn't much to say.
See what I did?
You did it. It's what we call a good lead-in. Good lead-in by you.
Oh, but I was saying, see, we didn't talk about the Rangers at all. Good stuff.
You did get by it. You were able to kind of skirt through.
You can hit me later on in the show.
Not have to talk about the Rangers, which is okay because it's not something that you want to do. But we do have, of course, the final game of the Jets and the Giants season on Sunday. It will all be over. I think most fans would say, thank God.
Yes.
I don't want to see it anymore. I just kind of gave you a little bit of the blueprint. I don't believe the Jets will fire Glenn, even though they should. And I'm even starting to believe more and more I don't think the Giants will fire Shane, even though that they should. I think that they are going to keep these guys around. I would clean sweep both organizations, start completely from zero. But I'm not sure that Woody Johnson is going to do that because he doesn't want to fire a coach again after 1 year. Not sure that the Giants organization with John Mara being sick and all these things, Tisches, etc. I don't think that they want to go and hire someone else to run the team, and Shane's been there a few years now. I would fire them. I don't think they're going to get fired. Glenn and Shane on each side. I don't think that they will.
Yeah, that seems to be the trending feeling these days, just in the last 24 to 48 hours. And
they both deserve to be fired, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not being cold-hearted here. I think that they both have not. Glenn is not, for a guy. I know 1 year it's hard to fire a coach. I don't think you've seen anything positive from him this year that makes you say, man, I can't wait for that guy to come back and be coach again next year. I don't see the positive qualities. And listening to him talk after even get this embarrassing game against the Patriots this weekend, it just, I know the tough guy act isn't there anymore, as it shouldn't be when you're 3-13. But there's just no positives for me to take out of any of it.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets are in a worse situation regardless, either way you look at it.
Get them out.
I mean, the Giants, if they keep their GM, at least you're getting a whole new staff coming in here, and hopefully it's going to be somebody that it's experienced. And depending on what happens here in the next week, playoffs, there's a couple of good guys that might become available for the Giants. So I think
it's possible
the Giants are going to be okay one way or the other.
Now, I think the pipe dream that I wouldn't say if it was a pipe dream a week ago when we sat here, the thought that maybe Harbaugh and the Ravens would come to that marriage would maybe come to an end after a very long time. I think that obviously, Paulie, that's changed a little bit with the Ravens now winning the way they did in Green Bay, having an opportunity to win the division on Sunday night. That might extend the marriage. Now, could they lose the first weekend of the playoffs and still do it? Sure. It's very possible that could happen, but I don't know if that's a realistic situation as
giving the rock to Henry.
As it looked a week ago. I think a week ago when we thought that they were going to be out and the Steelers were going to win and the Ravens were finished, that there was a chance there would be a divorce between Harbaugh and the Ravens, but I'm not as sure about that. And that means, and I think that would have been a great hire for the Giants. I think it would have been the perfect guy, a guy with experience who has won in the league, who was at a Super Bowl, who wants to win now. It would have been a great hire. And this is not because I want Marcus Freeman to stay as the head coach of Notre Dame. Of course, I would love for him to do that. I don't think the Giants can hire someone who has never been a head coach in the NFL before. I know we've said this time and time and time again, but I will put the hammer down on it one more time, Paulie, as they play their last game of the season on Sunday. I don't believe hiring a guy who has never done it before in the head coach spot is where they should go. There has been too much instability with this franchise for 10 years now. They need someone to turn the corner and bring stability back to it. That is what they need.
I agree. And I guess what was officially announced, Freeman's out of the whole picture too, as far as Notre Dame's concerned.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And we'll see what happens. But like I said, I look, if the Ravens really kind of get in here and then they look like a team that could play very well in the playoffs.
Right.
And with Jackson and Henry back there, two great talented. What I'm trying to get to real quick here is that if you look at the Giants and the Ravens are a better team to be coaching right now.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
Look,
I don't think it. I think it just would have been a situation if they missed the playoffs this year, where Harbaugh and Ravens brass and ownership might have sat down and said,
it looked like it was going that way.
Maybe it's time for a change
2 games ago.
For all of us. Maybe it's time for all of us to have a little bit of a change.
Yeah.
But those plans can change quickly when you make the playoffs. And then if you even win games in the playoffs, suddenly you're really not going to be making any changes.
That's part of what we were talking about earlier. What have you done for me lately?
Right.
And I think all of us, and I'm 100% one of these guys who just doesn't have patience anymore. And sometimes we probably all need to look back, step back, I should say, as fans, and maybe just breathe a little bit here. We're not the guys in the locker room. We're not the guys coaching. We're not the guys. We don't know all the extent of injuries. We don't know how the chemistry's working or not working. We all show up to work. Some days are great days, some days are bad days. So when you look at things, how things have flipped for a couple of teams here in the NFL at the end of the season here, the Rams falling backwards, right? Ravens stepping forward. And this is patience. Look at the Houston Texans, how they started. Some of these teams now that have a chance to not only get in the playoffs, be in the playoffs, but now be a scary opponent in the playoffs.
Right.
When you look at the body of work here.
Right.
And then again, talking about Stratford
when
and
you
May
get
and that
to
argument, there's, like I said, there's no patience. It's what's going on right now.
As someone who, as you know, has watched this and lived and breathed it for a very long time, NFL and the week to week and the playoffs and all, I really cannot, off the top of my head, remember a season that going into January is as wide open on both sides as this is.
Yeah,
I think really, it's great. I think that we've had years where, at least on one side, whether it was the AFC or the NFC, you've had years where there was at least one team that you were like, all right, this team is
it was always the Chiefs and the Patriots for a long time.
They're the top of the class. Like, there's teams that you will always be like, that's the best team. And you watched them and you knew it. I really could see 4 or 5 teams in the NFC go to the Super Bowl. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I actually believe any of the 7 teams that are going to be in, except if the Steelers win. If the Steelers won, I don't think the Steelers could get to the Super Bowl. If the Ravens won, I would put them in there just because they are a dangerous team if they're at full strength and playing right. If the Ravens are in, I could see any of the 7 teams in the AFC being in the Super Bowl. I really could. I think it's that wide open, and I don't think there's ever a year that I could say that, where I thought every team in the conference could get there. It's one way or the other.
It's been a while.
It's wild. A very wild season at that. But just to end this before, and I want to get in all the games, I think that both New York teams finish this Sunday the way that they have done it all year, and that's losing. I believe both will lose. I think that the Bills could play all their backups, the guys who shovel the snow and everything else, and they're going to beat the Jets on Sunday, and the Jets will finish a miserable year. And I believe that the Giants will lose to Dallas.
I'll disagree with you there.
Because Dallas has kind of shown me that they're like the Falcons last night. Like, they care about these games. And I think that they're going to go out and win their last game with Schottenheimer. I think that Schottenheimer's done a really nice job for them this year. And I think that they'll close the year on a win. And at the end of the day, like, the Giants played the Raiders last week, and I think that's why they won a game.
I'm going to give Jackson Dart a little more credit than that. I think he liked the feeling of winning last week, and I think he's going to have a good game at home.
So beat the Cowboys at home last week. So you're going to be all right picking 6th instead of 2nd? I mean, you dropped yourself down the...
everybody being angry about the pick and all that other stuff in the draft and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Blah, blah.
Okay.
I actually enjoyed the Giants winning the other day, and I'd like to see them close out in the Great Barn.
You would be in the minority with that opinion, just so you know. You would be in the minority in that opinion. Everybody wants them to lose this week, especially...
I'm special, Mike. I'm different.
Especially after beating the Raiders and screwing up the top pick, and this is how much they hold on to hope.
We got a great core.
I'm letting you know. Everybody thinks
we got our quarterback.
They could just lose this one, and then the Raiders beat the Chiefs later in the day, and you're back in the top slot. We got a chance for it.
We don't need the pick.
Don't need the pick.
We don't need the pick.
Jackson
Dart's our quarterback.
All right. Well, there you go. Paulie's likes the Giants to win on Sunday. I think the Cowboys will win, and I think the Bills will beat the Jets with all their backups.
What's the spread there for the?
I believe the Giants are getting 4.5 when I checked this morning, and I will
take that too.
I will reload with you here. Giants, it's down to 3.5 at one book. A couple books still have 4.5. Giants getting 4.5 at home.
Give it to me.
Buffalo touchdown favorites with potentially none of their important players playing.
Okay, that spread makes sense.
Because I think if Allen and company were playing, it would be about 13 or 14.
Yes.
So it's 7 with Mitch Trubisky and the crew.
Go, Mitch, go.
So I think that, and Allen will go out and ceremoniously take the first snap and then run off because he's got this consecutive game streak. They did this last year too. The last game of the year, this completely fugazi goes out, starts the game, takes the snap, hands off, and then goes and jogs to the sideline as the backup comes in. So they will do all of this.
He won't be carrying a flag into the stadium like Rogers did a couple years ago.
No,
right?
I don't think he'll be doing that. It is the last game there because they're not going to have a home game in the playoffs. So the last game at the old house.
Because that injury happened on a similar time.
Yes, yes, it did. It did certainly do that. All right, Go Sports Radio, Carver and Cuthbert here at Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island, and there is a lot of stuff that is going to be happening at Borrelli's over the next couple of days. Of course, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and other things as well. Paulie, why don't you tell everybody about it?
All right, once again, this is Carver and Cuthbert on the Go Sports Radio Network, broadcasting live at Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach, 912 West Beach Street here down in the South Shore, Long Island. New Year's Eve party here at Borrelli's. Live music with Lavish Life at 10 p.m. And there's going to be free admission. So come on down. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be awesome. Everybody's in town, back home from school, colleges, work, vacations, all that stuff. So Borrelli's going to be rocking in here. And then if the hangover is not too bad on New Year's Day, we'll be open here at 11 a.m. and with live music by Joe Gunning at 1 p.m. All right. So there's your New Year's Eve and New Year's Day schedule here at Borrelli's. Again, no fee to get in here on New Year's Eve. Just come and go as you please, and it's just going to be a great time. Restaurant's going to be open, bar kicking, sports, everything's going to be happening here. So make sure you end 2025 here if you're in the area down at Borrelli's here in Long Beach. Coming up on January 21st, the Billy Joel theme night continues here. Songs from an Italian restaurant. Again, that's free admission with a $21 pasta special and half-price bottles of red and white wine. Always a good time here. So again, that's Wednesday, January 21st. On Tuesday, January 27th, the comedy series here at Borrelli's continues with Joe List. Few tickets remaining for that. It's a 7 p.m. show. Only a show at 7 p.m. There is no second show. You can go to Borrelli'sTaproom.com and or go to Eventbrite.com and search Borrelli's Taproom for any remaining tickets for that show. This weekend coming up here, just to close out, or to kick off, I should say, which is weird, getting used to that, to kick off the new year here. Live entertainment here on Friday, which is going to be January 22nd, which is crazy. Tim Quinn is going to be in here at 7 p.m. Come down for that. And then Saturday, the 3rd, Evan Kariga and Dennis Kelly will be here at 7 p.m. And then DJ TM Select will be in here at 10 p.m. So that's Friday and Saturday, post New Year's Eve and New Year's Day celebrations here at Borrelli's. And that's pretty much a wrap. What's going on? We got more stuff coming up that we'll let everybody know in 2026. And we're back here next week on our regular scheduled Wednesdays and Thursdays. There's pasta nights coming up. There's some new
pasta night.
Yeah, there's some new theme music nights that are going to be announced too as well. So we got some good stuff coming up here at Borrelli's. But there you go.
I got to
get down here for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
I got to get to one of these pasta nights. I got to find a way, me and Nicole, to get down to one of these pasta nights. Make a little pasta, all that. It seems like
let me know.
Time. And
yeah, I'll grab Jen. Jen makes some mean sauce too. Oh yeah,
bottle of white.
It's a good night. Good night.
All right. So here we go. We're from Borrelli's, of course, on the island with Carver and Cuthbert. All right. Here's the rest of the slate. Week 18, outside of the locals. Now, there are really, Paulie, 1, 2, 3. There's really 3 games with a lot on the line. And then there's a lot of other games that involve seeding and other things like that. So let me start with this. What I think is the best game. You know what? Both of Saturday's games are good, so I'm going to mix it around a little bit here for you. Panthers-Bucks, 4:30 on Saturday. Now, they thought when they scheduled this that this would be winner get in, and now that the Falcons won last night, as we mentioned before, that has been screwed up. So now it is Panthers win. They are the NFC South champions. They will go to the playoffs. They will have a home game, et cetera, et cetera. If the Bucks win, they will have to sit around and watch the Falcons-Saint game on Sunday and hope that the Saints beat the Falcons. Because if the Falcons win, that means that the Panthers would be in no matter what happens on Saturday. So for now, this game has juice, and we shall see. So Panthers beat the Bucks, of course, in Carolina 2 weeks ago, 23-20. The Bucks have had an absolutely abysmal last 2 months. They have lost 4 in a row, 5, 6, 7 out of 8. 4 in a row, 7 out of 8 as they get ready to host Carolina, who has also been one of the most Jekyll and Hyde teams in the NFL this year. 1 week they look great, 1 week they look bad, 1 week they look great, 1 week they look bad. This would actually constitute a good week for them because they looked bad against the Seahawks this past Sunday. They looked good beating the Bucs the week before that. It's a very tough game, but I'm taking the Panthers. Panthers for me.
What's the spread?
I believe the Bucs are now 2.5-point favorites. 2.5 for Tampa. Short home favorite. I like the Panthers. I just believe, as Jekyll and Hyde as the Panthers have been over the course of really months in this, they have played better than the Bucs the last 2 months. I think the Bucs have just, that pirate ship, Paulie, it has just been sinking in the water out there in Tampa. And I think that they take the final cannonball on Saturday night from the Panthers. And it just goes right down. And you know why else I want it? I don't want the stupid, let's watch the Saint Falcon game to determine who wins the division on Sunday. I hate that aspect of this. I want the Panthers to make this nice and clean and win this game on Saturday so that we can go back to what the Saint Falcon game really is, meaningless. We wanted to go back to that. I'm taking Carolina. It's going to be a tough, I think it's going to be just like the game 2 weeks ago. 23-20, right in that area. But I think that Carolina finds a way. They've just played better to me over the last 2 months, and the Bucs are a sinking ship.
I don't like either team, so I'm just going to bet the spread here and take the Bucs.
So you're going to lay the 2.5 but you think the Bucs are going to win?
Yeah.
You're on the Bucs.
Yeah. I mean, I feel for you with that whole other scenario and everything, but.
Okay, so then let me ask you this. Since you want to tie it in, now I have to tie it in.
Tie it in, baby.
If you think the Bucs win, that means that you've just put some importance on the Saint Falcon game on Sunday.
Yes, I have.
So now the Saints and Falcons will take the field on Sunday, and that game, and neither of them can make the playoffs, but they will decide the fate of the other two teams. The game is in Atlanta, 1 o'clock on Sunday. The Falcons are 3-point favorites. The Saints have played very well here down the stretch as they have won 4 in a row to get themselves to 6-10. I think that Kellen Moore has done one of the best jobs in the NFL this year. I know that they haven't really played anybody down this stretch where they've won the 4 games. They've played other bad teams, but I think the job he's done, he's actually made Tyler Shuck look like a competent quarterback, which I don't think was ever possible. So Kellen Moore, for me, has really finished this strong. And I know the Falcons looked good last night. And I know the game is in Atlanta. I'm taking the Saints in that game. Whether it means anything or not to the other two teams, I think the Saints have played well enough, especially their defense down the stretch, that I am going to take them in this game. And Tyler Shuck finishes off. And I can't believe we're saying this. Tyler Shuck, who was an absolute stiff in college, is going to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year. He is going to be the Offensive Rookie of the Year. He is now minus 150 at most books. I can't believe it. And congrats to all you people out there who have enormous 50-1, 75-1, 100-1 tickets on Tyler Shuck to win Rookie of the Year, because I think he is going to finish that job for you on Sunday and get the Saints a win, whether it means something for the Bucs and Panthers or not.
And I'll take the Falcons.
Riding the Falcon train.
They were fun last
See, this is the Falcons do to you too all year, though. They've now put the bait out for people like you this week. Yes. Look at them. The Falcons beat the Rams on Monday night. They're not going to lose at home to the Saints. There's no way they could do that. This is when the mallet hits you over the head. Here at the whack-a-mole. Here, everybody's on the Falcons. Look at the Falcons. Oh, wow, they beat the Rams. They can't lose to Saints. Boom, whack-a-mole.
This is
right over your head.
Makes me forward to next week's shows.
Saints.
Falcons.
Win, but it won't matter because the Panthers are gonna beat the Bucs on Saturday night, so it doesn't make a difference. Also Saturday night, 8 o'clock, under the lights in Santa Clara. Tons on the table for the Hawks and the Niners. You talk about high stakes. The winner, the number 1 seed in the NFC, NFC West champions, a bye week, home field throughout the playoffs, and for the Niners, that is legitimate home field throughout the playoffs, because guess what? The Super Bowl is in Santa Clara at their house. They would never have to leave home again if they win this game on Saturday night. The Hawks are a very small 1.5-point favorite on the road in San Francisco against the Niners. Now, the loser of this game has to go on the road the next week. It's such a difference between winning and losing in terms of having a week off, having home field advantage, and then having to go on the road and go and do it the hard way. What a game between the Hawks and the Niners coming up Saturday night.
Well, we know about all the injuries on the Niners side. Where are the Seahawks lining up here as far as
look? They've got health. I mean, they've got some health here, and I think that that's part of the reason why you're seeing the Hawks in as a very, very slight road favorite here. And I think that this game, Paulie, breaks down for me like this. I have to give the Niners a ton of credit. What they have done this year is phenomenal. For them to be 12-4 with a chance to be the number 1 seed in the NFC and all the injuries that they have had this year, they haven't had Warner forever. They haven't had Bosa forever, and their defense shows it. It stinks. They didn't have Purdy for tons of weeks, and Mac Jones held the fort. They haven't had guys out. McCaffrey actually is held on all year. Kittle's missed a ton of games, including last week. And for them to be here in this position, hats off to Kyle Shanahan, who's a guy that I always like to bash because I know he's a genius, but he's lost a lot of big games, and nobody seems to ever want to bring that up when they talk about Kyle. But I give him a ton of credit. I think this is one of the best coaching jobs that he has done this year. Saying all that, I think the Seahawks are going to win Saturday night in San Francisco because, Paulie, I think the best unit on the field on Saturday night is the Seahawks defense. And I believe the Seahawks defense is going to be able to slow down, maybe not stop, but slow down a Niner offense that has been smoking hot the last couple of weeks. I think they could slow them down enough to where Darnold, and he doesn't look great, but the Niner D is the worst unit in this game. And I think that the Seahawks will find a way to score enough points, and their defense will find a way to hold the Niners down enough that the Seahawks find a way to win this game.
Yes, and as much as it pains me to agree with you, I do agree with you.
Wow.
So
you're Niners.
Yes, my Niners. Look, I hope Brock and the boys kind of pull it out here. But, you know, if it, I don't think it's going to be a back and forth game. And if it is a back and forth game like it was the other night, I think because what you just said, pointing out the Seahawks defense is going to probably be the deciding factor in that game. I mean, I mentioned the other day, just watching the Niners and the Bears there. I mean, the Niners couldn't stop a herd of turtles. That's how it looked like sometimes.
Herd of turtles.
So, look, I'd love to see the Niners, you know, prove us both wrong and end up winning that game. But yeah, I do agree with you. And he's been feeling good about himself here too. So I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's for all of us fans. It's a great game on the schedule for everything that's in play, and that'll be impressive. If Seattle goes in there and wins and beats the Niners in their house with all that on the table, and they do have a chance. They have a chance because of the injuries and the weakness on the defensive side of the Niners. And all they got to do is roll that tape from the Chicago game.
That's it. That's all they got to do. And look, I will stress one more time, super impressive year by the Niners.
Yeah.
And could I see them winning on Saturday night? Absolutely. They get absolutely. I do not think this is Hawks smash job, all the other nonsense words that I like to say here every week. I think this is a great Saturday night standalone game. This is an awesome game in Santa Clara. Big props to the Niners for what they've done this year. But I just feel like the Seattle defense is the key to this game. And I think that that's the unit that's going to end up finding a way, making the plays that wins this game for them. So I'm going with Seattle.
Here, Michael.
Here on Saturday night. Great game. All right, Sunday. The best game on Sunday is obviously the last one. Sunday night, AFC North, Ravens and the Steelers. Last playoff spot in the AFC, and you'll get a home game as the 4 seed on Wild Card Weekend. We talked at length yesterday how the Steelers blew it against the Browns on Sunday. Ravens finally figured out Harbaugh and Monken after months and years that they should just give Derrick Henry the ball 36-plus times and let him run for 200 yards and get on his back and let him take you home. And if they are going to employ that strategy again on Sunday night, Paulie, I don't see how the Ravens lose the game. Now, they can lose the game because I've watched them lose these games time and time again over the years. And the Steelers are another one of these teams where every time you think you've got them figured out, they go and pull the rug and play a good game. But I think the loss of Metcalf, as we mentioned yesterday, is a lot for them to overcome. I think it's a tight game. I've seen 3.5 that the Ravens are favored in this game on Sunday night. 3.5, I might take the Steelers with the points. Tomlin as a dog at home has ridiculous numbers. Steeler-Raven games are always down to what seemingly is the last play of the game and the last drive of the game. They're always tight games. So from a gambling perspective, 3.5 is very enticing to me with Pittsburgh. But I think the Ravens are going to win this game on Sunday night. If they employ the Henry strategy that they used in Green Bay last week, Paulie. If
regardless
they do that.
of who's now, any word on Jackson as far as starting?
I don't think you'll know that till Sunday.
Yeah.
I really think that that's something that they're going to keep under the lid one way or the other, because that's also another, competitive advantage. And we haven't had an injury report yet this week. So tomorrow is when you'll really know the first. And I don't think he's actually practiced on a Wednesday in like 4 months, like the entire season. So I don't know if you're going to find out a lot about that till Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, it's amazing
in his practice situation.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's amazing though how far we are away from that Steelers Detroit game all of a sudden.
Right.
And I think I'm going to take the Ravens, and I think this whole Pittsburgh Steelers charade is over. I think it's over.
Yeah,
especially with that effort against the Browns. I think you bring up some great points. And yeah, never can out Tomlin. Rodgers is always up for pulling out some miracle stuff here at the end. But I think the Ravens look just really good. I think they're back on track here, regardless who's taking the snap. And if they can find a way, like the Browns did too. I mean, the Browns weren't that impressive, but man, if Henry can freaking steamroll through, I think the Ravens win this. I think they want this a little more.
Now, again,
how they've played.
We are assuming some things here.
I know.
And
we
are assuming that the Ravens have learned their lesson about how to use Henry. We are assuming that.
Come on, man.
Paulie?
Everybody in that locker room, everybody in that front office, there's no way Harbaugh messes this thing up.
There's a reason why they've blown more double-digit fourth-quarter leads than anyone else in the last 4 years.
I'm going to go with the fact that that's not going to happen this week.
Okay.
I'm crossing my fingers behind my back.
All right. Look, I do believe that this is a tight, low-scoring game, and Steve asks Lamar playing. I don't think anyone's going to know that, Steve, until, honestly, Sunday. I think you really need to watch the injury report closely this week.
Mm-hmm.
I will almost guarantee you'll see Wednesday's report that he's not going to practice. I think what he does on Thursday and Friday will be the true indications of if there's even a chance he's going to play on Sunday night. And I'm sure he wants to play. I'm sure that he wants to be out there. And I think he was probably a little bit one of two things. He was either more hurt than they let on in that Patriot game that Sunday night where he left the game, or they purposely pulled back last week and tried to get by with Huntley and Henry to rest him up for this game, to potentially play this game this week. And they got their help that they needed from Cleveland. I think the Ravens win one way or the other. Because I also think the Steeler offense it's different without Metcalf, and you saw it in the Cleveland game. It's just going to be a very hard thing for them to swallow, but I think the game's ugly. I think the game's under. And 3.5, I got to take the Steelers, but I think the Ravens win the game.
Okay.
So that would be my betting / reality, versus who's actually going to win it, expectations for me. But it's a hell of a game to finish the season, too, on Sunday night. It's a great Sunday night game to get things going. All right, quickly, Paulie. Obviously, a lot of these other games on Sunday, they mean squadoosh, nothing in terms of what's going on. I will roll through them with you and anything that has any kind of importance. I'll start here. John kind of brought it up earlier. The Patriots and the Broncos are still in the mix for the 1 seed. The Jaguars actually are too, but they would need both of them to lose and them win. I'm not sure both the Patriots and the Broncos are going to lose in this kind of spot that we are going to have. So the Patriots are home for Flipper. They're laying 10.5. The Broncos are home for the Chargers. They're laying 12.5. We already know that Herbert isn't going to play. I'm going to make this very simple, Paulie. I will not be betting either of these games. I'm sure that the teams that are playing for something are going to go out and they're going to get their job done. Do I want to sit around in the fourth quarter with them up 17 and a backup comes in and they win the game by 10? No, I do not want to do that. I believe that the Patriots and the Broncos will both take care of business late on Sunday, and the Broncos will be the 1 seed in the AFC.
I agree. I like your thinking.
Now, the Jags can get there if both of those teams lost. That's not going to happen. But they do need to win, Paulie, to assure they win the division. Because if they lose and Houston wins, Houston can steal that from them. The Jags are home for the Titans. Another big spread, 12.5. And I've kind of been waiting for the other shoe to drop with Jacksonville these last few weeks, saying I don't know if I necessarily believe. I think I have to start believing a little bit. Here's one thing I do feel pretty good about.
You can believe in. You can definitely believe
this is honestly the same thing for me as the other two games. Do I want to lay 12.5 with Jacksonville on Sunday? No, I don't. Do I think Jacksonville loses the game? No, I don't. I think the Jags will win and win the AFC South with and by the way, a hell of a job by Liam Cohen as the head coach. What he's done also this year. There are so many guys that could win Coach of the Year in the NFL this year. It's unfortunate that there's going to be guys who don't. Mm-hmm. Liam Cohen is one of those guys. He's really unlocked Lawrence into a big-time player in this league. They will win the AFC South. They will take care of business, but I'm a little scared of laying 12.5.
Everything you're saying makes a ton of sense.
You're in on it all.
Yes, I am. I really I can't disagree with you there.
The Texans will take the field with a potential to win the division if they're playing at the same time. So unless they look up at the scoreboard at some point and see the Jags are up 14, 17, 20
if the
points.
Jags are playing anybody else, I might think differently.
Texans at home for the Colts. It will the P-Riv, great job by Phillip Rivers, but it's over. They'll play Riley Leonard this week now that they're officially out and all those things. So it was fun to have Phillip Rivers for a few weeks.
And I expect the Texans to attack like dogs and just
I would expect that as well.
So go out on the biggest note that they can with the win and just a great season, second half of the season.
Yes, hell of a job by the Texans. I'm with you.
You better be
afraid. So those four teams in the AFC that are playing for something, mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to lay the points with all of them, but I think they all win their games. Jags, Houston, Denver, New England. I think they'll all win, and they'll take care of business in that aspect. Anything else with gas? We mentioned the Rams at the top. The seeding, who cares? I don't think the Eagles, Sirianni's basically told you he doesn't care what seed they are because, mm-hmm. and I expect him fully to not play Hurts and A.J. Brown and Lane Johnson and most of his offensive line. I think he will rest all those guys and be ready for the playoffs. Ben Johnson claims he's going to play his guys with the Bears. I don't think that's a great move by him. I would also sit his guys and not care who he plays in the next round, but that's, he's a rookie head coach. He's got to learn the hard way sometimes. And other than that, Paulie, there's nothing here of significance. Although I guess this game will have significance for Giant fans. Chiefs, Raiders. The Raiders lose. They will have the number 1 pick in the draft. But, the skeleton of the Chiefs have looked pretty bad the last few weeks. And remember, division rival, Andy Reid doesn't want to see the Raiders get the top pick. Maybe they,
I think the Raiders,
that game I love.
Their flight's going to get delayed.
Something's going to happen there. I love the under in that game, Chief Raider game this week. I think that will be one of these week 18. No one wants to win. Everyone wants to get the hell out of their specials, and it's like a 10-7 game, and they're just running the ball and running clock to get the hell out of there. I love that under in the Chiefs and the Raiders.
It's a scab game. It's one of those old scab games.
That's just it's just one of those going through it. And other than that, that's it. There's week 18 for you, Paulie, in the NFL.
Crazy. Winding down.
Crazy. It is crazy. And there's, like I said, lots of incentives, other things that guys are playing for this week. Go Sports Radio, Carver and Cuthbert from Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. We will come back. College football playoff, 4 games. Obviously, a Wednesday night, New Year's Eve with Miami and Ohio State. 3 games on New Year's Day that we will talk about, and some of the other bowl games here for us. We will come back. A lot more to do. Go Sports Radio right after this. And we're back. Carver and Cuthbert Go Sports Radio from Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. Beautiful day. Nice and cold down here. And not as many dog walkers today.
It's pretty damn windy yesterday, pal.
It's pretty windy. It's still pretty windy. But
yeah, we weren't on the water.
It's pretty windy yesterday. That is for sure. All right. We have got, as we roll on here on a Tuesday, heading into the new year. Part of heading into the new year, of course, is the college football playoff, which will get back going on Wednesday night, tomorrow night, with the quarters, which will begin with Ohio State and Miami, the Hurricanes and the Buckeyes. Of course, everyone remembers their national championship game back in 102 with the phantom flag there in the corner. So Miami fans have been waiting for this one to get a hold of them again. This game will be, Paulie, at the Cotton Bowl, Jerry's World in Dallas, 7:30 New Year's Eve. Ohio State 9.5-point favorites in this game with a total of 40.5. Now, 40.5, a very, very low total here. A lot of these bowl games have gone under. Now, remember, bowl games and college football playoff games are two completely different animals. But I think the under being so low here, the number being so low, is a combination of obviously Ohio State having a very, very good defense this year and Miami's defense looking so good in the win over Texas A&M in the first round. I am not sure that this game is going to be, 10-3 like that one was. I am not sure that this is going to be the same type of game. I will tell you, Paulie, I think that Ohio State's going to win. They are the better team. But as much as I like to rag on this guy, Cristobal, and what he's done with the Canes, I got to give him respect because he did go out and win that game against Texas A&M. I think this is a tough spot against them, but Miami has athletes. They have players. And I think that they can hang in this game for a little bit, especially, and this will be a theme for me in all four of these games. I think that there's a lot to be said about the teams that just played last week and the teams that have been sitting around since Thanksgiving weekend or the weekend after. We're talking about a month between games for Ohio State and Texas Tech and Indiana and Georgia. It's a long time. And I think that there is, especially early in the game, maybe going to be a little bit of an advantage for the teams that did just play in the first round of the college football playoff. Yeah,
they did just play, but there's also been a little bit of time off as well. I mean, for them. I'm going to roll with the Buckeyes here. Miami is as good as they were. Winning that game to get into this spot didn't put up a lot of offense.
Yeah.
And I think Ohio State is going to be stronger in that aspect. And Ohio's got a pretty good defense too. So I'm going to go with the favorites here.
Go with the favorites.
Favorites, the experience.
Cover the 9.5 too, Ohio State? Smash job? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not I don't think
smash job, but they win by 10, 14, right in that area.
Yeah.
Yes, Eddie reminds me, January of 03 Fiesta Bowl, double overtime game. So there's the 02 season, 03 Fiesta Bowl.
That's a mighty long time.
And he said, and yes, I did say A&M was fraudulent, but I think you got to give him some respect. I mean, they held him to nothing that day. I mean, I thought A&M was a fraudulent team, but you got to give Miami's D a little bit of credit. They held him to 0 in the game. They stopped them in a goal line at the end to preserve the win. Fraudulent or not, Yeah,
but they're going to have to step up a lot more offensively if they want to beat Ohio State.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? Maybe the 40.5 is light. I'm taking Miami 9.5. I think that I am going to be, you'll see this as we talk about all four games. I'm putting a premium on the teams that just played.
Mm-hmm.
I am. And Miami just playing at Texas A&M and not having a month off like Ohio State does. And that doesn't mean Ohio State's not going to win the game and go and win the national championship. I'm sure they're going to be right there. But I think this is a game where Miami hangs around and they're going to be live in the game throughout it. I like Miami first half, too. I think first half's a good spot for Miami to go in and kind of before Ohio State gets the footing. So it's Miami points for me. I think Ohio State does win the game, though.
And Ohio State has the capability to make some mistakes here and
sure.
And give another team a chance.
They absolutely do. Look, I don't think that this Ohio State team is as good as last year's team. I think last year's team was better.
Agree.
So, they can be beaten. As Steve put in there, they haven't beaten anyone. I don't believe that this team is as good. And last year's team, remember, Ohio State played in the first round at home. They beat Tennessee. They went, but they did some things, they crushed Oregon. That was just a much different team than this one. They haven't really beaten anyone. They've lost it. They lost the game to Indiana in the Big Ten title game. I think this is a fun game, and I think Miami's going to cover, but I think Ohio State is going to win. All right, triple header on Thursday for New Year's Day.
Lucky us.
Starting at noon East in Miami at the Orange Bowl. Oregon and Texas Tech. Oregon coming off playing Jimmy Madison at home. And as I said to you last week, I thought a little disappointing that they gave up 30-plus points to James Madison, and their players in Van Lanning were a little disappointed in that as well. Now, look, they scored 50-plus points. They won the game. They didn't cover the game. They take on a Texas Tech team that has a really, really good athletic, strong defense. But I think that what you'll hear a lot before this game on Thursday, Paulie, is that kind of what, saying to the same aspect, maybe not so much with the Buckeyes, is Texas Tech. Who have they beaten this year? Who have they beaten? They beat BYU twice. That's all fine and good. But who have they really beaten in the long run? And people are going to say not much. They beat Utah. They really handled them. Beat Houston. Do they have any big wins on their resume? Have they played a team like Oregon this year? Not really. I side with the team that played a couple weeks ago. I think this is Oregon for me. Now, tough playing the Noon East kick in Miami. Blah, blah, people will kind of bring that stuff up, being a West Coast team. I don't think that stuff matters. They get their days and days before to adjust to the clock. It's not like they're showing up Wednesday night to play on Thursday at noon. So I think that I've heard some people bring that up. I don't think it's going to matter. And look, and Florida's having one of their coldest Decembers ever. Yeah. So I don't even think that. But in a dime, it could be is really going to matter. Now, Steve brings this up, and I brought this up last week. The underdog seeds covered and won outright. The first round bye is a death sentence. One thing I will say, Steve, to that, and I said it last week too. The seeds are different this year. You don't have a Boise State and an Arizona State as a couple of the teams that are sitting there. But I agree with your point in the big picture, and that's why I like the teams that won in the first round. I think it's going to factor that they haven't been sitting around for a month. So, Paulie, I'm taking Oregon against Texas Tech. I would like to see Texas Tech win. I like the story. I like Joey McGuire. I like a lot of things about him. But I think that Oregon's better, and I think that Oregon has not sat around for a month. So that's why I like them. Yeah, and the general prediction meter here is got to split down the middle. Pretty much. It's a coin flip game. Yeah, leaning just. It is a coin flip game. I think it would be cool if Texas Tech won. I think it'd be great for the Big 12. I think all of those things and their program, they spent a lot of money, and they have a very strong, athletic, fun defense that maybe will give Oregon problems. And Oregon's D, as you saw against Jimmy Madison last week, they had trouble at home. They gave up 30 points to that team. So I think this could be the funnest game. I kind of like the over 51.5. I think we could maybe get a little fun with Oregon and Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl. Middle game. Hold on. Oh, you're not sorry. Who you get? I apologize. That's all right. I apologize. I'm on Oregon. I'm going to take Oregon too. Okay. Oregon for you as well. Quack, quack. Yes. I think this just something, a little bit of a shiny bit of luck. Okay. Going to ride Oregon here into this game. All right. I just want to get my pick in. I didn't realize. I thought that you had said who you had. I didn't even hear it. I thought you said who you were in. I don't want to miss you with the who you got. I'm wrong a lot, so it's not really that important, but who you got? 4 o'clock. And by the way, this is never actually at 4 o'clock East because, the pomp and circumstance at the Rose Bowl. You talk about something else I've had enough of. Come on, complained man. About that's this American history and tradition, pal. I've had enough of college football bending over backwards to keep the Rose Bowl happy. I could care less about their dopey game in Pasadena. They could play enough.
It's America.
The granddaddy of them all.
That's right. It is the granddaddy of them all.
Enough. Yeah. But it doesn't mean more than everything else. And I just hasn't had that cachet forever.
I might have a bouquet of roses for you here next Wednesday.
Alabama and Indiana. Indiana 7-point favorites, 47.5 is the total. I feel like Indiana has had a great year. Kurt Cignetti's been good to me from the betting aspect. He has turned Indiana around, winning that Big Ten championship. What a job by him. I feel like, Paulie, coming into this game, they won their Super Bowl already, beating Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. I don't love the matchup for them against Alabama. I think that everybody kind of smashed and bashed Alabama about them getting in. And now you might see the ball start to get rolling for them here. I'm taking Alabama with the 7 points in this game against Indiana. I love the over, too. I think we can get some points. And I think Alabama can win the game outright. I think they could beat Indiana. And Indiana's had an amazing year. But this is just another one of those. I don't know how they're going to play with a month off after winning a game. Like they were so pumped. And I told you it meant everything to them. That game meant so much more to Indiana than Ohio State winning the Big Ten title game. And they've had a month to maybe, shake that off and refocus and do all that.
I am surprised.
I am taking Alabama against Indiana with the points and maybe even outright. I'm going to take them.
So while we're on this topic, if Alabama wins this game, where does the conversation go as far as national champion if Indiana gets knocked out?
Look, I think it's why I think Ohio State.
Roll Tide were dead there almost.
Ohio State is the favorite right now, even with losing to Indiana. Okay. Ohio State's the favorite. Indiana's the second favorite at this juncture. And look, Steve might be right here. Obama will be up at the half. Hoosiers will close the deal. That could happen. We saw the Hoosiers, rally that game at Penn State and get it done. They came back and beat Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. I do not think that they're going to come out in a Rose Bowl and roll Alabama. I don't think that. I think Alabama will. That's a pretty damn good team too, and they got some players. And they found a little something in that Oklahoma game against a really good Oklahoma defense. I'm taking Alabama with the points.
I have also been impressed with Alabama. I have been wrong about them. But I am going to stick with the number 1 seed here in the big Rose Bowl.
Okay.
To win the game.
Rain at the Rose Bowl? That's fine. I like Alabama even more then.
Yeah.
Give me the rain. That's fine by me. Because Indiana wants to play fast. They want to do fast track stuff. I'm perfectly fine with a little sprinkles. And I did hear it's pretty raining pretty good out in Pasadena.
Tell you what, man.
As they get ready for
Roll Tide win this game, man. I'm moving up to the passenger side on the band.
Well, you better get in now. They're about 20-1 to win the title. So that's going to change a lot if they beat Indiana. It'll be single digits. 5-1.
Something else, man.
It would be. It would be something else. But this is again. It's like last year, you had all the teams that won the first weekend go on runs, and I think it means a lot. Now, the only spot of these games is the night game on Thursday, Ole Miss and Georgia. The only spot where I think maybe it doesn't mean as much, the month off, is with Georgia because Kirby did it last year, lost the game, and he's so good that I bet you when he got home the next day, he said, if I'm in this spot next year, I'm going to do this, and this differently, preparing for that game, knowing I'm playing a team that just played and I had a month off. I think that Kirby Smart's such a good coach that he will have Georgia a little bit more prepared. And then you have Ole Miss, who, look, they did what they had to do against Tulane. You give them credit for that, but I still don't know off of that game how good their offense is going to be without Lane Kiffin being there. I love the under in this Ole Miss Georgia game. I actually think that this game will be the opposite of the first game. They played a 40 234, whatever it was, game the first time they played. I think that this game is more defensive driven, especially with Golding being now the head coach at Ole Miss, and he's a defensive guy. Kirby's going to have different stuff defensive wise. I think that this game's more of an under as opposed to what they did the last time. And it's the biggest total out of these 4 games at 55.5.
I think Georgia blows them out.
Blows them out.
Blows them out. I think you're going to just see an intense, major showing here from Kirby and the Bulldogs here.
This is the one game where
because I think they are sick of the whole Ohio State, Indiana, all this stuff. Maybe Georgia's not getting enough respect here.
You might be right, and I think that this is the one game where I'm going to go against my theories with the team backing the team that just played. I think I have a couple things, like I mentioned about Kirby, that factor in, and they know each other. They know the teams very well, being both out of the SEC.
Buddy,
now
your supply just got
look at this. They're wheeling in all the action to Borrelli's for the next couple of nights, and they're getting a delivery, and they're rolling the hand trucks in.
Pulled up.
Oh man, it would be great. I'm not backing the team that won in the first round. This is the only one I'm not. I'm probably with you. I think it's Georgia in this game. I just think Kirby has learned some things from last year, and they're the better team, and they're going to take care of business.
Man,
so there you go.
3 great games. 3 great
games on Thursday. Now
that are going to totally just bury the Winter Classic.
Winter Classic's Friday night.
Is it Friday?
It's Friday night.
Oh, my bad.
Friday night for the Winter Classic. All right, other bowl games, in case you're interested. Got 3 games today. Coastal and La Tech in the Independence Bowl. Tennessee and Illinois in the Music City Bowl. USC and TCU in the Alamo Bowl. Remember the Alamo?
Are you watching? You tuning in?
I actually will probably be involved in that USC TCU game tonight. I love the Alamo Bowl. It's usually a dead over. There's usually tons of points. I kind of like that USC TCU over tonight in that game. And then tomorrow afternoon, they're giving you 4 games before the playoff for New Year's Eve. I mean, if you got nothing to do, you got the ReliaQuest with Iowa and Vandy. The tradition unlike any other, the Sun Bowl in the rolling hills of El Paso between Arizona State and Duke.
Look at you providing geographical scenery.
Michigan and Texas in the Cheez-It Bowl in Orlando.
Hey, we didn't even what's your thoughts on the new Michigan coach?
Kyle Whittingham. I think it's a safe hire by them. It's a guy who brings some stability. Yes, he's older, and I know that gets some people a little.
Yeah,
it's
kind of old.
He is a guy that is going to go in there, and I think that the athletic department and the leadership at Michigan was very intent on bringing in a guy who's going to clean away a lot of the stuff that's gone on there over the past few years. They're tired of being mentioned in scandals and sanctions and this and that. And Whittingham is a guy who's going to come in, no nonsense, and clean the program slate. And he's good enough that he will also make the program, keep the program a winner and do all of those things. So I think it's integrity, which is something that obviously they need to clean up over the last 5 to 7 years. So I think it's a very good hire for them, considering when they had to make the hire, past the hiring cycle of being able to maybe go after some other guys. Do I think that they wanted Kalen DeBoer from Alabama first? Yes. Do I think they wanted Kenny Dillingham from Arizona State first? Yes. Do I think it's the 3rd, 4th, or 5th choice? Yeah. But
so he's like the wolf in the Reservoir Dogs. He's coming in to clean things up.
Sure, he's coming in to clean up and make sure everything's going to be okay. And Nebraska, Utah as well in the Las Vegas Bowl Wednesday afternoon at 3:30 at Allegiant. Utah laying 14 against the skeleton of Nebraska going on. So you have some bowl action coming up over the next couple of days as well.
In and around the Punch Bowl action that'll be going on.
In and around the Punch Bowl. We have plenty of Punch Bowl action too. You got hockey tonight also. The Islanders are in Chicago against the Blackhawks. Islanders play the Blackhawks tonight. They play the hockey team now known as, but shouldn't be known as, the Mammoth on Thursday at home, New Year's Day matinee at the Old Barn.
What a trip if you were a Utah Mammoth fan and a Colorado Mammoth fan in the National Lacrosse League.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah.
Pretty close to each other there.
Pretty close in the mountains, Rocky Mountains. The time zone there. They're right there with each other.
I know you don't like the Mammoth, so
I hate the name.
What are your feelings on the Colorado Mammoth, the lacrosse team?
I haven't seen them play enough to probably give a
National Lacrosse League just got underway, man. Bandits up in Buffalo.
Started. Well, the Bandits have been there forever. You're saying the season just started?
Yeah, the season just started.
Okay. Yeah.
We're gonna do some lacrosse action.
I've never dabbled, and it's not something that's for me. I've never been involved, but all right. Isles in Chicago tonight. I got to see if I don't know if they have the morning skate yet or not. Is Sorokin playing tonight? I'm not sure. But this Riddick's been great for them so far. We'll see if he's back in.
Isles with the Flyers on their tails.
Well,
and
look,
the Caps.
we know we do this all the time. Everybody's
just
tight. Everybody's tight here. No Sorokin again tonight. Rittich was in the starter's net this morning. So they did say it was a small nagging injury. It doesn't seem like that's the case considering he's still not playing. But it is what it is. Let's get to this because we need we do a lot of who you got. Plenty of who you gots for all the football games.
Mm-hmm.
Who you got for the college football playoff. Who you got for this. Who you got for that. We need a who you got for the Winter Classic on Friday night. Lone Depot Park.
Well, now that I know actually when it's being played.
Marlins Park in Miami. Rangers and Panthers. Friday night at like 8:00 East. I mean, just putting the shining light on the NHL on a Friday night heading into a January weekend, the first weekend of 2026. You can't beat it. I am, as I said to you yesterday, I am interested to watch the scene. I don't know who said this, but I thought it was an awesome idea. You know how like around the rink, they usually have like stuff for where they are. Like they put they got to get some swimming pools out by the rink. They got some people swimming out there next to the rink. Who cares how the cold from the rink
League has become a minor league baseball team where they have to have all these distractions going on in the stands or on the sides.
Keep people off their phones and all
to keep people, entertained during the game while the actual game is going on. Where the heck is Florida?
I'm interested in this. I'm going to have fun. I will tune in on Friday night. Rangers on the money line. Better road team at home, and they do well in these classics, Eddie. I do agree with that, but there's a problem. This Ranger team isn't that good. I feel like these games go one of two ways, these Winter Classic games. They are either complete slogs and they're an awful game.
It could be sloggy.
And it could be brutal.
Like literally the ice could be slushy.
If that's the game, who knows? It's like I think it's hard to cap these things and try to pick a winner and do it because the conditions and what the rink is like means so much, and it affects both teams.
We're hockey guys. We're not interested in this game. It's disappointing.
I'm going to turn the game on and watch.
I know, but
I'm going to bet the game.
But you're not happy with the two teams that are in this?
I'm betting Florida.
Of course you are.
Because if the game's a slog, Florida will beat them. And if the game somehow, because a lot of these Winter Classics, too, sometimes are 7-5. But that's usually when it's outside cold and there's sun glares and the goalies can't see.
What's Miller's status?
Not going to have that.
What kind of injury has that guy got? How do we find that out right now?
He's the difference if he's playing in the Winter Classic on Friday night?
If Miller walks out of the locker room and gets on the ice, I think so. It could help him out a little bit. It'll definitely help him out offensively.
Now, they're both playing Wednesday
Florida
night.
hasn't been lighting up the league this year. You've got two teams here that are really, like the rest of the league, not that good. So, I mean, look, I'm a Ranger fan. If they win, they need it more than anything as far as the standings are concerned.
Panthers will have the extra day of rest, too. They're making the Rangers play in D.C. Wednesday afternoon.
Here's the deal. Florida is tougher. They're meaner. They got a better netminder. Okay? They got more talent on this team. They got a fantastic coach. They're Stanley Cup champions back-to-back. This is their first time.
And it's a big moment for them. Big moment.
The Rangers don't have the strength. They don't have the will.
I'm be willing to say
they don't have the leadership.
They have no shot.
Florida should.
I like it, John. On the puck line.
Well.
Lay the puck and a half with Florida Friday night. A monster win for the Panthers in the Winter Classic on the beach in Miami.
It could be ugly.
7-1 Panthers Friday night.
You're calling 7-1?
No, I was
come on.
All right. 5-1 Panthers.
5 goals, huh?
5-1 Panthers.
I'll say 5-2. I'll give the Rangers 2 goals.
You acted like I was nuts. You picked almost the same score. You think they're going to get run too. You get run out of the place.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's going to be 6-7 goals.
By the way, everybody go bet the under now. This game's destined to be 2-1 in a shootout. Destined to be there, especially if the
what time is it on?
8 o'clock. A night Winter Classic.
See, I don't even know when it was
South
on,
Beach.
what time it's on.
Jump in the pool.
You know, this is crazy because years ago, and fans out there listening and watching clips and all that other crap, I used to host the Winter Classic at my house. I used to get all the guys together, hang out. It was a big thing. And that ended probably, I guess, maybe 4 or 5 games into this run.
Yeah.
And now it's a shame.
I couldn't even tell you some of the places they've been. I used to be at the early ones. I could tell you all of them. Buffalo, Fenway Park, Wrigley. You know, they were at all these places. I mean, they were at the big house.
We did get tired of seeing the Blackhawks and the Rangers.
You can't have the Blackhawks in it all the time. And you know, remember they did obviously a lot of Sidanovi in Pittsburgh. They played at Sidanovi and they had problems with the ice that time. Mm-hmm. Flyers Rangers was at Citizens Bank in Philly, which was a good. But now it's like, I mean, where were they? They were at the Cotton Bowl last year, right? Wasn't it Nashville and Dallas? And is that where they were? Or was that Seattle for the?
There you go, man.
Didn't they do Vegas and the Kraken in Seattle?
I don't know.
Year?
I don't know where or who played in it last year. I don't know.
It was Seattle, Vegas last year. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Or it was definitely one of the last 2 years they played in Seattle, and the other one was in Dallas with the Preds and the Stars. They've played in the last couple of years. So there you go. And that's it for us. Everybody have I didn't even get you one more time fast before we leave. Everybody know about what's happening at Borrelli's.
All right, down the South Shore of Long Island, head on down to Long Beach and come to Borrelli's for the big New Year's Eve party, 912 West Beach Street right here. Live music, lavish light at 10 p.m., and just a big-ass party down here at Borrelli's. Nobody throws a party like Borrelli's down here. So check that out. And then if you're up for it, they'll be open here on New Year's Day at I think they're open 11 a.m. All right, 11 a.m. open here on New Year's Day. Come down for brunch and live music with Joe Gunning at 1 p.m. So there you go. And then some great live music this weekend to cap things off with Tim Quinn on Friday and Evan Corriga and Dennis Kelly on Saturday night. And DJ TM Select here going to be Saturday night too. So there you go. Close out 2025 big here and kick it off. Wow, it's going to be 2026 this weekend, Mike.
Telling me that this reel's having a moment. Look at that. Well, this reel's having a moment.
Yeah, well, you touched the nerve.
Touched the nerve. I guess I did. Everybody have a safe, happy, and healthy New Year.
And Happy New Year to you, buddy.
Happy New Year to you. We will be back next week, and it will be 2026.
Started this little show a couple months ago, and we're going to carry it into 2026.
We'll keep it going.
Thank everybody who's been
from Borrelli's.
Jumping in on the chats and
checking out all the chat today.
Content.
Lots of people watching on X today. You had a big, almost 200 live on X. So we had a big crowd today for the last Go Sports Radio, Carver and Cuthbert of 2025. Great job by you. Great job by all of you as well. Have a safe, happy, and healthy New Year, and we'll be back here next week from Borrelli's for 2026. Have a great weekend.